What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we got Fred of Amahiru, as well as Sinsaenum, Kreator, and so many other bands. Thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, what's up?
It's so good to have you here. You have the self-titled Amahiru album out, the debut. It sounds absolutely awesome. Do you just want to talk about like how the making of this album was in terms of like the songwriting and the recording and all that fun stuff?
Okay, well, thank you very much if you think it's awesome, but I do think it's awesome myself. The project started in 2018. I actually met the guitar player Saki back in 2015, and then we became friends, and we just like saw each other every time I was going to Japan. And after 3 years of just like doing that, we said, why don't we play music together? And one of the things was just to make music that we were not doing with our other bands. So at the time I was still with Dragon Force, and she's still playing with a band called Mary's Blood, and we just wanted to explore like different territories. So something melodic. So this is, I guess you could define Amahiru sort of hard rock, heavy metal with like touches of different, prog, thrash, traditional heavy metal, like I said, and some funky elements as well, and some touches of Japanese music. And I guess the point was just to have fun and make music that we love, and that's what we did.
Do you feel that the first three singles that you released off this album, WTTP, Hours, and Lucky Star featuring Elise from Amaranth, do you think that maybe serves as like a clear representation of what this whole album is going to sound like, or is there a lot more to be discovered with it?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretentious to say there's a lot more, but each songs are different. I guess you could possibly like 2 or 3 that you could put in the same category, but I guess I'm a fan of bands that put out albums with 10 real different songs, and when I say that, I'm talking about Faith No More, but also that's what I was saying in my previous interview. Alice Cooper, an album like Welcome to My Nightmare, that was released in 1975. You've got a song that's hard rock, another one that's more, sounds like The Doors, so more rock. Then another song that's more like musical, and it's the same artist, and no one was complaining about it. And I've always felt like that was really interesting. So I guess that's what I'm saying is just like that's something that we've been doing with this album, in the sense that like I said, there was no limitations. So you have like a song like Samurai that people haven't heard yet, which is very very brutal and very thrash, and that's very far from pretty dark, and it's very far from Lucky Star or Hours, but that's also us as well. So I guess the first 3 songs are very very positive and very catchy, and the rest of the album is also very catchy, but like I said, there's definitely more to it and more to discover.
Awesome. What you kind of mentioned it before, this was sort of like a preconceived idea, right? To incorporate many different elements of heavy metal into your sound, right? There was like a lot of experimentation involved.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's experimentation just as much as more like, total freedom. Like I said, in the past when I was writing music for Dragon Force, I guess I had to do that within the limitations that go with the name, because you write Dragon Force and you have also other members, so you can't really just like shake things up too much. So people expect power metal, and you have certain ingredients that you need to put in your recipe. But here it was more like the sky's the limit. So in a sense that, I have a song and I'm sure that's going to be cool. What do you think? Oh yeah, I like it. And it sounds a bit like Megadeth here, or it sounds a bit like Pantera. Yeah, who cares? That's fun. So it was really just, I wouldn't say experimenting to me would be like to really incorporate weird things, or try weird chords and whatnot, but there was none of that. We wanted to write something catchy, technical, because we can, and it's always fun, but not too much to the point that it would bore people out or us, So I guess, maybe experimenting a little bit, but like I said, it was more about having fun and writing music that we like.
And you mentioned you were working on this since 2018. So is what we're going to be hearing on this album are what we hearing, are these how the songs were originally like written structure wise, or maybe did these songs change a lot in a 2-year time period?
No, actually, like I said, so we decided in 2018, mid 2018, that we would be making a band together. Then I had to go on tour with Sinsaenum. So I did September to November. Then we started to exchange songs. So that was in December 2018. By March 2019, I was in Japan with Saki to finalize the songs, like in the demo, so that I could send the stuff to everybody else to start the proper recording. And we mixed the album in end of June 2019. So actually the writing process and recording process has been really quick, and I guess it shows the sort of excitement and the energy that's been put into it. It's been like, we had a lot of ideas flying left and right, and we just like, one thing that was important to me was to go to Japan to work on all the songs together with Saki, so it would belong to the both of us, and not just like, oh, this is my song and this is your song. So everything just like belongs to to the both of us, and so I guess we were on the same page. So not a lot of things really changed. I think it's pretty much what you hear. It's what it was, pretty much.
Excellent. And do you feel that maybe like when it came to the formation of Amahiru, like it wasn't like you were trying to combine elements of Dragon Force combined with Mary's Blood or anything like that? It was like you were trying to maybe like step into territory that you haven't really done before, right?
Yeah. Around the time I was already sort of thinking of leaving Dragon Force anyway, so it would have been stupid to try to incorporate elements of a band that I want to go, and I didn't want to be. With that being said, okay, there's an album from Dragon Force that I contributed to way more than the others. This one is called Reaching into Infinity.
Yeah.
And and that one doesn't sound very much like Dragon Force compared to the others. That's the least Dragon Force album of the whole Dragon Force albums, blah blah blah. Because I was writing, I wrote like 70% of the album, and played 70% of the album, guitar and rhythm guitar, melody guitar and bass, and so I guess that's what I took that with me, because that's like I said, I had to write within the limitations. But what the ingredients that I put, that I was allowed to put, those I took with me. So I didn't want to have like the limitations of the Dragon Force style, but the elements that I brought when I did Reaching into Infinity, yes, I wanted to bring them with me, because those are the elements that I like in metal in general. But definitely no, it was not. And that's what we told the label as well. I said, do not expect a Dragon Force meets Mary's Blood, and it's a shake and that's it. Because to me, artistically, that would have been just like a waste of time. This is completely, useless. So it's more like, if you give us like total freedom in terms of music, and we're gonna do something that we like and something that's not what people have been hearing, because there's no point, then we have a deal. And that's what we did.
I agree with you. There's so many like artists that are in like 20 different bands, but like they're all like death metal, so it's like, where's like the exploration, you know what I mean? Like, so it's good that, because like I feel like, being such a prolific artist, playing with Amahiru and Dragon Force and Kreator and Sinsaenum, like, is it almost like it is a completely different mind frame altogether, right? Whether it is songwriting or even playing, right? It's not like there's a usual method behind the madness that applies to everything, right?
Yeah, but without, it's not so, also because I had the same question right before. It's also, I'm not going to lie and pretend that, I need to, burn candles, or I need to just like put myself in the dark. And I can function during the same day, not today because I was doing something else, but I can start the morning with a creator because I have something to do on a new song, then go have lunch, and then do a Sinsaenum because I have an idea, and then work on Amahiru an hour after because I guess each are part of my personality, similar to you. If you watch Netflix, for example, if you want to switch from an anime and then you go like, oh, I feel like a horror movie now. It's a different. I guess it is a different mindset, but you don't really think about it so much. It's more like something that you feel, but it's part of you. You like animes and horror movies and porn movies or whatever. And and I guess to me it's just the same. So those are elements of my personality, and I've never reached a point where I'm just like, oh my god, I'm in Amahiru mode, but now I need to do some creator. It's very from an external point of view. Maybe people think are just like, what's going on with that guy? But to me, this is just like it's a reflection of my music collection. You're gonna see like Billy Joel, Morbid Angel. I don't know. I was going to say Blind Guardian, but no, I don't have any. I don't know, Dark Throne, and then Metallica, and I guess that's how I am. So it's not so difficult. It's not as difficult as it seems. It's actually very natural, and I think that's very good in a way and very sane to be able to express myself in different bands, so that way there's no frustration and no just like like you said, like having 20 bands or 20 brutal death bands. I don't see the point. So
yeah, do you feel that maybe though, like your playing style has to be somewhat adjusted? Because like like with Amahiru, you have a song with Elise from Amaranth, and you have a band with Attila from Mayhem. Like I'd imagine that like almost the playing style's different, or maybe there's like a different theoretical element behind it, right? Or maybe even the tuning.
Tuning is different. I guess with Sinsaenum, we are in a drop A sharp. So I guess indeed the positions will be different, and I guess I want to give a different energy. Again, I don't really analyze that so much, but now that we are, you and I, talking about it, I guess maybe my riff is going to be slightly different, and I guess the energy that I want to give is different. It's a different color. It's dark. It's evil. So obviously, I will be in a different. At that time, I will be in a different mindset right at the time. But I don't really think about it beforehand. So when I go there, indeed, it will be different picking than Amahiru when we play Lucky Star. But Lucky Star is actually quite difficult, so maybe I'll be also struggling, and maybe it's going to be dark in my head because I'll be like, oh god. But it's different. But I suppose it's Okay, I'm going back to your first question as well. The different mindset and whatnot. I guess it's really when you're into it, but it's not like it's not difficult to get into it. But once you're into it, obviously, my face will be different when I play Amahiru as when I play Sinsaenum, for example, or Kreator. Yeah,
and I mean, you mentioning Lucky Star being a difficult song, I was getting arthritis just listening to that song. So like that, that's very, very impressive actually with how you incorporated everything in there.
Yeah, it's well, thank you. I mean, it's quite difficult. It started like I think it started with an idea that Saki sent me, and I just completely like destructured the whole thing. And so her idea, what's left of it, is in the middle of the song, that very proggy part. But then I was just like, it was actually getting too complicated to my taste. And I was like, no, I want something sexy and funky. So that's why the start, it's very, sounds like extreme. And then it goes into like, I don't know, sort of like symphonic, syncopated. And then the chorus is bombastic. And then I do like Iron Maiden solo and, whatever. But it's quite a challenging song playing wise. It's difficult, but at the same time, it's nice to play. It's difficult, but it's nice.
Yeah. Do you have like a theoretical background that you incorporate into your songwriting, or are you more on the self-taught side with your instrumentation?
I did. I went to music school when I was a kid, so I know how to read music, and but I did not learn how to write music. But I didn't know. Yeah, so I guess like that developed my my ear, and my I have some some knowledge, some background. But that's not something I really incorporate in terms of songwriting. It comes handy when you have to explain to someone, or when you want to explain to someone. Unfortunately, if they don't have that same background, it's pretty useless to have it, because you're just going to explain something and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I don't know. I think everything helps. You know, from the going to music school to having a lot of different style of music in your music collection. That helps as well, if not even more. So every little thing helps along the way. But so yeah, I do have like a classical music background, but I don't think I'm incorporating it, or I'm not thinking about it that way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think what matters is the song itself. I don't care how many scale modes you know, or how many chord progressions you could memorize. If the song, I know people who couldn't tell the Mixolydian scale from an E chord, but like, I feel like if the song is good, that's what matters in the end. And there's songwriting is also a completely different talent from playing it. Like, I know people who could play Joe Satriani to the album, but if they don't have a platform to work on, they just can't write a simple chord progression. So
exactly. But I don't know if I'm good at any of those, but I try to float in between the two, rather than just like be like the not being able to play. Because you got people like that are not very good at playing, but they have like very cool ideas. But I would feel frustrated to be in that position. But you've got also people that are very talented, and very like technical, and indeed they cannot just like do 3 chords or 4 chord progression song. So I try to float between the two, I guess.
Yeah, and I think in the end, if you have the background in theory and it's been instilled in you for so long, I think it's gonna like in a way influence you. You're gonna develop like good habits without you even realizing it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, like I said, it's very hard because that's the way I was brought up. So I cannot really look back and just like try things differently and see how it works. But I guess it did help. It definitely didn't hurt. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because like I was interviewing Taria a couple years ago, and she has a full classical background and everything, and it's like, but when you have like these classical backgrounds, and it's very this way or no way, and very like, and then they listen to like what you do with like heavy metal. I think in the end you're contradicting the theory anyway, right?
Yeah. I remember we did a couple of things. I remember going to university briefly to try and be because there was like music theory at the university, because I tried different things, and I told my parents and said, I want to do music. So went to university, and they were teaching you how to write music. So that means you cannot do fifths in a row, in harmony. And that's the way they used to write music in the past. And I remember being all rebellious and telling like, "Oh, I don't care how you're telling me how to write music, because I love heavy metal and this is blah blah." So that I was dumb. But anyway, I remember a few years after working with classical musicians. Because we were doing it was called rock symphonic rock, and that was a mix of classical musicians and a rock band, and we were doing covers of The Who, Rolling Stones, Beatles, and Led Zeppelin. That was in my hometown, and I remember there was very like 2 different worlds. Like the classical guys they would have like score in front of them, and they'd be very technical. All of them would have like a gold medal from their school and blah blah blah. And we were just like the rock band, smoking cigarettes and like still reeking of booze from the night before. And then we would rehearse with them. and tell them, all right, okay, that was crap. Let's start from verse number 2. And they were completely lost. They were like, which page is that? What page? I'm like, well, verse number 2? Did you guys, are you listening to the song? But then most of the guys in the rock band would not have been able to follow, So it's two different worlds, but it's great when you can, again, navigate in between the two.
Yeah, and there's great contrast in the music as well. I think you can incorporate great solos, but then you could also have a lot of raw energy and power into it. Like, I remember, I forgot what band it was, and I'm going to be losing sleep tonight, or not being able to remember it, but like one of the musicians like came from like a punk rock hardcore background, and then the other musician came from like a classical music background, and when you put the two together, it creates so much contrast with each other. So
yeah,
it really helps. When it comes to playing material live, regardless if it's with Amahiru or Sinsaenum or any band that you're with, is there maybe a different energy into playing live versus songwriting, or is there maybe something that ties the two together?
I guess when you write a song, it's not always the case, but if you have like a certain emotion while writing the song or even recording it, then sometimes when you go on stage, you're gonna naturally sort of like reproduce that same energy, because that gives you also like a sort of like something to hold on to. You're like, oh yeah, I remember when I wrote that song, I was pissed off because I don't know, my girlfriend told me to clean the floor, or whatever, and you just try to feed from that. Just like try to be in the same vibe, but I don't know. I'm trying to remember any. It depends also how the crowd reacts, because it's very hard to become something if to begin with there's no one in front of you or no one really cares. So you just sort of like not gonna be. So it's really there's a lot of interaction involved, and it's sort of hard to analyze. But I remember, for example, there was a song I wrote when I was in Dragon Force called Symphony of the Night, and that was written back then. I had a Japanese girlfriend, and also I wrote the song with Japanese melodies, because so there was like a lot of love for Japan involved in the writing of the song. And when we played the song in Japan, and I saw that the crowd was really digging it and singing together, and that was really, I remember I was like lifted, and I had like little tears in my eyes, and I was just like, oh, this is beautiful. So there's a lot of, it depends on the song and the energy and whatnot.
Yeah, and the final question I wanted to ask you about songwriting, it's the hardest question of the whole interview. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How do you know when a song is done?
Yeah. God, I guess when you meet the deadline and you kind of have to move on, it's very difficult. I mean, like I told you, okay, the album has been done since the end of June 2019, and even to that day when I listened to Lucky Star, I'm like, oh God, maybe we could have done with another chorus at the end, or maybe I could have had the guitar there, and it's never you kind of have, at some point you kind of have to let go and go like, look, I'm very happy with what I have right now. I've tried different options. I guess once you've tried a different options, and then you can't really hear anything better coming out of it, that's when you kind of, depends how much time you have, of course, but when you go around in circles and you can't really think of anything better, I guess that's when it's time to even though I guess it's a very difficult question. It's not fair.
I always love asking artists the most difficult questions. Those are my favorite ones to ask. Like anything, like a test.
No, it is very it's very difficult to know when and because I was producing Amahiru, and I've been producing Sinsaenum as well. You've got like the double, so you're the one who's definitely, because you could like write a song and then then give it to the producer, and then that's his job. It's already like difficult to give the baby away, but when you're doing both, it's very difficult to know when it's done. But I guess I don't know. I mean, you listen to what I've done so far, and I think that was my interpretation of song being done. But maybe we can analyze that some other day and go through them all and say like, you could have done that, or I could have done that differently now that I think of it. But yeah, I guess sometimes you just have to force yourself to go like, you know what, I've been on this for that many days or weeks, and it's time to carry on. And we have a deadline anyway. So.
I've always said there's a rock and roll heaven and a rock and roll hell, and Purgatory is what I call the realm of forgotten ideas, the realm of forgotten riffs and forgotten song structures and all that. So maybe some new ideas that you've had for what you could have done on Lucky Star or something like that. Well, that's where they'll be.
Yeah, probably. Although I'm very good at refurbishing old ideas. I mean, I can't remember the nickname, but I had a band that they were just laughing because I would just like bring a song and they were like, nah, and I was like, oh, okay, and then destructure everything, and then a riff eventually would come back 6 months after, and then I've done that on Dragon Force albums. There was a riff that I had written. I don't know, 15 years prior, and then they would just like come back, and then my friends who were in my band at the time listen to the album and go like, oh my god, you did bring that one back. I'm like, yeah. So there's always like, that Purgatory is actually probably those are my hard drives somewhere. I've got a lot of Purgatory there.
That's insane. And yeah, the realm of forgotten riffs. And you know what? It's not really so much that the riffs change, it's just that people change. So therefore people's, like what may have, I've always said, like the famous saying where like a visual artist, like a painter, their paintings aren't famous until after they're dead or something like that. It's like, it's not that the art changes, it's that people change. I feel like it's like that with songs as well.
Yeah, definitely. So some certain things that for Sinsaenum, for example, I was in a sort of different mindset at the time, and then now when I listen to it, I'm just like, oh, I was really pissed off. But that's cool, it's a photograph of a person, and indeed at a certain time, I wouldn't be able to write a song like that, or I would now with my knowledge, I would like produce them differently. But you kind of have to let go and enjoy songs for what they are, which are like like you said, like.
Yeah, it's cool that you like. I feel like you almost are like a vocalist in a way. Like you have like a mindset of a vocalist because they use lyrics and vocal melody to express an emotion, or as a self-portrait, you use your instrument to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's why I always said I prefer to play guitar than bass, because with guitar I can express myself better. So yeah, expression is important, and to me that's why I like good lyrics, but it's never been so important to me. What's really important is like notes and chord progressions and whatnot. That's my thing. That's what I feel like you can express more, and it's less limited than words. But that's just me.
Yeah, well, if the composition isn't intriguing, nobody's going to give a shit about what the meaning is ever. Like, it's like modern art. Like, you would see like a soda can on a pedestal sold for like $25,000, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they'd be like, no, it has this deep anti-establishment meaning. I'm like, okay, but it's a freaking cola can. Like, I'm not interested in the composition, so why would I care about the message as well?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed this discussion. Is there just anything that you would like to promote with Amahiru with the release of the self-titled album? Obviously, thanks to a virus that shall not be named, obviously shows aren't happening at the moment, but can we maybe be getting some live stream performances to hold us over? And will you bring Amahiru out on the road as well?
I don't know. I mean, there's like you said. Right now those are strange times, and there's always big question marks. And I don't want to do half-assed things. We've done a live stream show with Kreator, and that was really interesting. And we're very happy with the results. And I guess the fans loved it as well. And that was a nice experience. But that's not. I can tell this is not where we belong. This is not, we need the energy of the crowd and whatnot. And I'd rather wait until it's safe to do that again, rather than do like a first representation of Amahiru in a sort of not what I would enjoy the most. So while I understand that people would definitely be happy, just oh cool, I get to see Saki. She's better looking than I am, so I know. But I'm happy to see them playing their song, and it's fine. But I guess I would really prefer to wait and give people what the full thing, rather than a half whatever. So, but I'm saying this, and maybe in 2 weeks you will see like live stream, Amahiru, because of red face.
Yeah.
But I think, I think so far we haven't really been talking about it. So what I do is just like, and Saki is going to do the same. I think it's fun to grab my guitar and go on Instagram and record myself doing a solo or explain that. With that, I'm happy with. But doing a live stream, I don't know. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes. And meanwhile, we're going to work on new songs. And we'll see. Hopefully, by the time it's fine to do shows again. I don't know. Maybe there will be a second album already. I don't know. We'll see.
You got to do a tour. Your first tour back has to be Kreator, Sinsaenum, and Amahiru. You got to do 3 sets in a night.
Yeah, cool. And there's Loud Blast as well. I'm playing in a French band called Loud Blast, so there'll be like a 4 bands bill, and I'll be really exhausted. But that'd be cool. I'd be happy to do that. Happy to talk to the other people.
You'll have enough energy saved up from all this isolated times that you could do it.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
But thank you so much, Fred. Everybody, we are here with Fred of Amahiru, as well as Sinsaenum, Kreator, and so much more. Be sure to check out the self-titled debut of Amahiru. It's absolutely awesome. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We will see you next time.